Hi, thank you for watching my presentation. Today, obviously, I'll be diving into the topic of amoebic dysentery. Hopefully, with this, you'll know a little bit more about this infection um, and how it's caused. It definitely has a history that's almost as messy as the symptoms that it causes. You'll know a little bit more about amoeba's toilets and why water is your best friend. So, to start off, I am just going to go into a little bit of a history of the disease. We're going to start off with the person who basically discovered this. So, in 1875, a Russian scientist by the name of Fyodor Losh first identified E. histolytica. This was in northern Russia. Fast forward to 1933 at the Chicago World's Fair. We come into one of its most infamous appearances, where over 1,000 people got sick and 98 people died. And this was from drinking contaminated water. Not exactly the type of souvenir you would want to bring home from the fair. um, Unfortunately, this parasite didn't just stay in the past. It's still very present in today and causing trouble worldwide. So, a little bit more about the parasite that is causing all of that trouble. We come to meet Entamoeba histolytica. It's a single-celled protozoan parasite. It comes in two forms. We've got the cyst form, which is kind of like its hibernation mode. It's pretty tough and hard to destroy. Then we've got the trophozoite, which is its active, wreak havoc on your gut form. It's so sneaky and resilient that the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Disease has classified it as a Category B biodefense pathogen. Basically, just means it's a yucky organism you do not want in your food or water. So now you might not be, or you might be a bit curious on where it likes to hang out, who its targets are. So E. histolytica is basically a world traveler. I believe it has sort of a nickname as being the traveler's parasite, something along those lines. But it usually thrives in places that have poor sanitation. Every year, it infects about 500 million people and causes up to 100,000 deaths. You might be curious on where its favorite hideout is. It's in the human intestine. From there, all cysts that are in there can survive um, in soil, water. They can survive for weeks, just waiting for their next host. So, how exactly does the sneaky parasite actually spread? Well, for this parasite, it is all about the fecal oral route. Um, So basically, contaminated food, water, other surfaces. If someone doesn't wash their hands properly, especially after using the bathroom, and then they go and handle food or touch surfaces, the cyst can hitch a ride. So you could even pick it up by touching a contaminated surface, and then let's say you bite your nails. So it's pretty gross. Um, So now we'll go into what happens when E. histolytica sets up camp in your body. It's going to cause some pretty gross symptoms. It's going to cause diarrhea, hence the name dysentery. Some stomach cramps, can cause fever, it can cause bloody diarrhea. And here's the thing, in most infections, they kind of fly under the radar. About 80 to 90% of people don't show any symptoms at all, just meaning that they're asymptomatic. But when E. histolytica does make itself known, it's not exactly subtle about it. Causes that diarrhea, stomach cramps that we were talking about. And then in severe cases, it can even cause liver abscesses, severe dehydration, which can be life threatening. Luckily, a majority of us do have a pretty cool immune response. So when the infection makes itself known, our immune response kicks into high gear. It sends white blood cells to attack the parasite. So this battle can create an immune response called inflammation, which can cause damage to your tissues, but it also does help clear out the infection. Some lucky people have an immune response that is so effective that they don't even realize that they've been infected at all. And then, speaking about the infection, how do we confirm that someone even has this? So, to diagnose amoebic dysentery, doctors could start by examining stool samples. They would view this under a microscope, just looking for cysts and the trophozoites. More advanced tests, such as antigen detection and molecular testing, can confirm the diagnosis as well. In those severe cases that we were talking about earlier, where it gets into your liver, they would use imaging techniques like CT scans, ultrasounds to help identify those complications. So, um, once identified, you're going to want to start treatment, of course. So, the treatment for this um, involves antibiotics. If you're showing symptoms, you're going to want two antibiotics. The first one is to clear out the infection that's in your tissues, and then the other is for the cysts that are in your gut. If you're asymptomatic, meaning you're not showing symptoms, then you only need one antibiotic, and that should do the trick at preventing the spread of this to others. Um, Another thing in those severe instances where the person has become severely dehydrated, there's also rehydration therapy that can help with that. So then the next thing is prevention. Preventing this is all about hygiene, washing your hands, especially after using the restroom, drinking bottled water, boiling your water, avoiding raw fruits and vegetables, especially if you're in a high risk area. Um, Sadly, there is no vaccine for this. So clean water and sanitation are key in prevention. All right. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this. Below, I do have some references if you are curious and would like to look up where I got this information and take a little more in depth look at this infectious disease.